Thank you very much, sir, for your time this afternoon. Given the projections that we are hearing and that we are expecting our peak in August and September, ICU beds are expected to be overpopulated when we do reach our peak. That is what is informing BUSA's call to open the economy to level 2.
Well, I cannot talk for BUSA. I can talk for the Black Business Council. Incidentally, Black Business Council and BUSA formed this business for South Africa. So we're probably seeing things from the same page. Our view is that it's important to shift our focus whilst paying specific attention on the public health issues, but shift the focus on a very important issue, which is the mortality of the business sector. There's a lot of enterprises which have confirmed that even if the lockdown was lifted tomorrow, they will not be going back to business because they just don't have the liquidity and the solvency issues to get back to business. So a lot of jobs are going to be lost. That is now taken as common cause. It's also common cause that this year our economy will contract by at least 10%, worst case scenario by as much as 15%. It is also common cause that more than 1 million jobs will be lost in the formal sector. We expect that in the informal sector, probably twice that. We have to think about livelihoods as much as we are focused on issue of lives. So we're trying to strike a balance, but I must hasten to add that in our engagements with government, we've found a partner who seems to be very amenable to this very vibrant debate of lives and livelihoods. And we can only empathize with the situation they find themselves in because they have to make those decisions.
As you rightfully note, sir, a lot of jobs will be lost. And as you also mentioned, there is concern over the loss of lives as well. How then does the Black Business Council and BUSA perhaps propose dealing with workers who will be coming from perhaps hotspots and going to work and engaging with other people who have to use public transport and who are fearing for their lives?
Probably the biggest bottleneck and the major area of concern is when people travel to work and from work. So a lot of work has got to be done there, how to work with the tax associations, how to assist them towards sustaining a less load whilst at the same time playing their part in transporting people to work. When they get to work, it has to be the responsibility of employers to do the screening, to do social distancing at work, to do sanitization, and to alter the workflow and the program such that at regular intervals, such matters will be taken care of. We are very happy as business to take some of that responsibility away from the state and to fulfill our part towards our employees. Because remember, when we open up the economy, we still consider our employees, our people, to be some of our best assets. So we have to look after them.
When you say take the responsibility from the state, what does that look like?
We talk about sharing the responsibility. The provision of sanitizers when it was a maximum lockdown level 5 was most likely, in most instances, left to the state and the various agencies, including the Solidarity Fund. When people are back at work, every employer has got to have a station, has got to have systems in place to do screening, and has got to have the economic capabilities to effective social distancing. It is a shared responsibility. At the same time, in some instances, they've got to do the testing on site. Because remember, the punishment is quite severe if you are found to be lax in that regard. Because then your production, your business has got to be shut down.
Thank you very much for your thoughts on that. Sandile Zungu is from the Black Business Council.